Hello, all my inspirations, and welcome to Inspirational, where we have our inspiring guests who share their life journeys with us in hope that they can also inspire, encourage, and bless other people. Today, we have a special guest with us. Her name is Crystal, and we are going to be discussing how she survived trafficking along with other things that she went through. Today's going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to be an inspiring one. I just want to welcome the replay gang as well. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoy this broadcast. God bless you all. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate each and every person here. Thank you so much. Let me just quickly say hello to some people, and then we're going to bring our guest up. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know I saw a few people. I saw the Glorious Generations family. Hello, lovely sister. How are you doing? Thank you so much for being here. Miss Lackey, welcome, sis. Thank you ever so much for being here. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Lion King, God bless you. Yes, interesting topic indeed. Thank you so much for being here, Lion King. Angela Fireround, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Grace Lander, welcome. God bless you, Grace. I appreciate your time. Thank you ever so much. Who else do I have here? Thank you so much, Sister E. God bless you, my lovely Sister E. Thank you so much. God bless you, Destiny. Thank you ever so much for being here. God bless you, sister. Thank you so much, Virtual Church and His Word. God bless you all. Okay, I'm gonna bring up our guest. So, like I said already, we're gonna be discussing how she went from trafficking to actually helping other people survive trauma and go through trauma. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless you all. Hello, Crystal. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you ever so much. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Crystal. So today we of course have you with us today, and we are so grateful that you're going to be sharing your story, your journey with us today. I definitely want you to introduce yourself, and then we can talk a bit more about how you actually went through this process and how it was for you, and the turning point. At what point were you free, so to speak? So yeah, just introduce yourself to us.
So my name is Crystal Castle, and I am a coach, and I help trauma survivors turn their hurt into healing.
Okay.
And yeah, so I help people to really recognize what it is in themselves that they need to heal, because we all deserve to have the healing, and a lot of us have a tendency to let a lot of these things really define us and drive our lives, and we don't realize that a lot of it is choice. And so I help people recognize that they can actually choose something different. They can choose different thoughts. They can choose a different way of being. They can choose a different way of living and no longer be a victim.
Yes, absolutely. I love the way you said that. And I think we're going to definitely touch more on, I believe it, the mind, the choice. Choice is very, very important in life. A lot of our situations are based on choice, for better or for worse. So I like the way you highlighted that, and I think it's so true. Now, tell us a bit about your upbringing. At what stage did you feel that you were a victim of being trafficked? What happened? How was your environment growing up as a young person? At what age did this start, or when did it end?
Well, it didn't really end until I was in my 20s. It started when I was young, and it was just a situation where I ended up, the people who were trafficking me began grooming me from a young age. And that's how it happens, right? We don't recognize that this is what's happening. And it also happens with not just trafficking victims, but with abuse victims. You're lacking something in your life, and you're feeling neglected, or you're feeling left out. You don't feel loved. You just want to be a part of something. You want to be validated. You want to feel loved and cared for and nurtured. And so these people that do this stuff, they draw you in. And so, you know, they give you everything that you're lacking. They might buy you gifts or, you know, treat you like, you know, you want to be treated because you're obviously, there's something missing in your life, right? And you feel like these people can give you whatever it is that you're missing. And so, you know, it started like that. I was being groomed from a very early age, around age 8. And, you know, all this stuff happened in my childhood, and, you know, there were threats of violence, and, you know,
Was this by trusted people?
Yes. Unfortunately, because I can't say names or anything.
Of course, no, yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, there are people that you know, you think, you know,
Yes,
and then they turn out to be completely different people. And it's the same thing with abuse victims, because it is all abuse, right? It's all a form of abuse. They're people that you think that you know, that you think that you can trust, and then they turn on you and they make you do all these horrible things. And so when I was a child, you know, all this stuff happened to me, and it left a very, very deep wound in me.
right.
And I was severely depressed. I went through, you know, I was very, very depressed for a very long time. I attempted suicide multiple times. And as I got older, that led to me being in abusive relationships.
Right.
And so, you know, because you learn, right? This is how I was trained to seek out a certain kind of person. And so I ended up in abusive relationships, and, you know, these people, the abusive relationships that I was in turn ended up, you know, I went from a childhood victim of trafficking to an adult victim of trafficking. And so, you know, as an adult, it was harder for me because when you're a child, you have no choice, right? You are in the situations that you're in, and you're a child. You really have no choice. And now I've been living on my own since I was 16. So everything that I did from the age of 16 forward was based on a choice that I made.
Okay.
And so when I got older and fell into this, you know, the adult version of trafficking, which is far worse than being a child victim of trafficking.
Why do you say that is far worse?
Because as an adult, you think differently. Okay. You know, as a child, you're, you know, and it's not, none of it is good. None of it is good in any sense of the word. But as an adult, your rationalizations are different, right? When you're a kid, you know, you think, why me? Why me? Why is this happening to me?
Exactly.
And as an adult, you think, why am I letting this happen? Why am I doing this? Why am I participating? Because again, it is a choice. A lot of times you're stuck in a situation where you can't get out. And I was in a situation where, you know, I got involved with a pimp, basically, and was forced to do things that I didn't want to do, because and I hated myself. That's kind of, you know, one of the worst things about it was I hated myself for all of the things that had happened to me.
Yes.
For, you know, all the people that I felt that should have protected me when I was younger, that didn't, for not doing anything about it, and for basically like feeling like I was a coward. And
wow.
And that was the worst part, the hatred, the deep self-loathing for the things that I did as an adult. You know, because as a child, like, I had no choice. There were things that were done to me that I was forced to do that I didn't actively participate in. But as an adult, I actively participated, even if it was by coercion or force. And because of that, I truly hated myself.
Yes.
And you know, because of that deep hatred and shame and self-loathing and fear, I became an alcoholic, and I attempted suicide. And you know, it was awful. It was a really horrible way to live.
Just for the hello everybody that's coming, God bless you all. Could you just explain to us, for those who may not know, what is trafficking? What is your understanding of trafficking?
So, I mean, there's multiple different ways a person can be trafficked. And trafficking is basically forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do, or coercing them, using scare tactics to, whether it's working for free, working for little or no pay, and it doesn't have to be sex trafficking. It can be anything where you're really coercing or forcing someone to do something. Child labor is a form of trafficking, because they don't have a choice. They're not, given a choice. And even though I felt like I had a choice, I didn't. Because
what was the consequence? If you had said, no, I do not want to do this, I'm not going to do this, I've had enough, what would have been the consequence?
I would have been killed.
Wow. Very, very serious.
Yeah.
Very life-threatening.
It wasn't even that I was afraid of dying, because I hated my life, really. I mean, I didn't care if I died. Like, I tried to kill myself. But there was also threats of violence against my family.
Right.
And, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill your mother, your father, your sisters. I'm going to find everybody in your family, and I'm going to not only kill them, I'm going to torture them. And it's going to be horrible. And I couldn't live with that, knowing that, somebody would be harmed because I didn't do something.
Yes.
And so it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying, to have to live with that fear. And, I became an alcoholic. I couldn't live without alcohol.
What age was this when you became an alcoholic?
So I'm in the US. In the US, the legal drinking age is 21, and I was a full-blown alcoholic before I was even old enough to legally drink. So,
and I believe you drank to suppress the pain, the reality of what you're actually going through. You almost don't even want to wake up and be in your situation.
No.
So I guess we would turn to things that we don't really want to, but because we just want to numb whatever it is that we're going through, we abuse other things. So it's very and I think it's a lot of pressure, especially at that age, because as you said, if you want to do something, other people could be harmed.
Yeah.
And that is something that you feel guilt, shame, pressured. It's just a lot of it's not a comfortable situation to be in at all.
No, it's not. It was not fun. I did not enjoy any of it. And it's a lot to put on someone. It really is. And a lot of people don't realize just how hard it is for some of these people who are being forced to do things that they really just don't want to do, but feel like they have no other choice.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, okay, I either do this or, my mom could die. I do this, or they're going to torture my beautiful little sisters. Right. Or God forbid they find my sisters and force them to do this as well. Like, that was also a threat too. We're going to go I have sisters that are 10 and 12 years younger than me. And so I was, in my early 20s. So they were just, 9, 8, 10 years old. And I'm like, no way, I can't let this happen. So it was horrible to think that they could do that. And honestly, they probably would have.
And I find it interesting actually that you were actually the victim. So your siblings weren't. So it was just.
Yeah. Well, when I was a child, they weren't born.
Right.
Because they're younger than me.
Okay. So, the age difference.
Yeah. So, they weren't around, and a lot of stuff that I did to protect them. So, basically I took the brunt of the abuse so that no one else would have to.
Yes. Wow, Crystal, that is such a is such I don't know, at that age, you know, how you would have dealt with all of that, you know, how you would have, did you have anybody at the time that you were, even in your family, that you spoke to, you know, about it, or that, you know, of course you were going through this, but was there any type of outlet that you could have, or a support system at the time?
Honestly, I had alcohol. I mean, I was drinking when I was in like junior high school. I don't know if they call it junior high school where you are, but you know, 7th grade, I was
Yeah.
drinking because it was difficult. It was really hard for me to, you know, I struggled a lot. And it's interesting because I really wanted to be a better person and to do better in my life. So I'm an overachiever. And so I had
Hello.
all this going on. And because I didn't want people to know what I was struggling with or what I was suffering through, I was, you know, a straight A honor roll student. And, you know, a lot of people that are going through this, they really suffer. And you see it physically, like it.
Sorry to disturb you, Crystal. I think my face is blurry. I don't know. Is it better now? Can everybody see me? Can you see me clearly, Crystal?
I can see you. It's kind of blurry.
Okay. 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 Continue, Crystal. I'm listening.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
yeah.
I'm just going to try and figure this out, but I'm
That's okay.
listening. Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people that are going through these things, it shows up in their life, right? Like they stop taking care of themselves, they stop bathing, they stop eating properly, their grades suffer.
Mm-hmm.
But I pushed myself, like really, really pushed myself to excel, to be better, because I was hopeful that things would change. And if they, like, I could get a good education and I could get out and just move on with my life and go someplace different,
Right.
and you know, get away from everything, get away from the people. And so I really, really pushed myself to try and do good in school. So it didn't really manifest that way. um, I'm really, really good at hiding things, you know, at if somebody looks at me, you can't tell that I'm
Mm,
suffering. And we all do that, especially people like that are really, really struggling. You know, we become masters at hiding the pain. You can work with someone for 20 years and not
yeah.
know that they're struggling
Yes.
because they're always smiling and they're trying. I mean, look at Robin Williams,
Yes.
for Christ's sake. You know, Robin Williams, I mean, who would have thought that he was as depressed as he was? And all these people, you know, who you know, end up taking their own lives. Like, we don't understand how much these people are suffering until it ends that tragically.
Exactly. It's like a smile on your face, but so many things happening internally
Yeah.
that you can't even speak to somebody about, or you're even ashamed of that you went through it. But you're absolutely right. There are so many people that go through things and we just won't have a clue. And
No.
that's why it's so important that whatever it is we do in this world, we are kind to people, you know, because we just don't know. That word of kindness can change somebody's whole day or even their life. Just to let that person know that they are valued, you know, they're appreciated and they're important despite what they may be going through behind closed doors, what they may be going through that nobody sees, you know. So it's very important. And I think that's our responsibility as human beings to do these type of things. Now, I hope I'm clearer. I don't know if I am. Let me know, guys, if you can see me or not. I hope so. If my face is clearer. Yes. Okay. So yes, Crystal. So I mean, so how was your 1 second. So in terms of grooming, was it your family that, you know, put you through this, or your friends?
It was people in our neighborhood
Okay.
where we lived. So, you know, it was, I love my parents. They're great people.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of problems.
Okay.
And they really weren't there for us as children.
Mm.
And so I felt neglected and had like holes to fill, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And these people, they're really good at targeting people who have this specific need that need to be filled.
Right.
And so they will pull you in and do this, and it's right under everyone's noses, and people don't even know what's going on. They have
Mm-hmm.
no clue. They don't understand that it's happening, because everyone puts on a brave face. Everybody puts on this facade. And I grew up in a decent neighborhood, in an
Mm-hmm.
okay area. I mean, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't like, a horrible place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I grew up in a horrible area that, it's a place where you would expect this kind of thing to happen. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was just a normal suburban neighborhood
Yeah.
with normal every day. Like, I mean, it was a blue collar neighborhood where, everybody gets up, they go to work, they come home, families have dinner, you watch TV, and,
Right.
so it's just, a lot of people don't realize that it happens everywhere. And it happens every day.
Yeah. Crystal, I want to stop you politely because I want to sort out my connection. I don't know. I think my face is blurry. So let me try and sort it out, and then I'll put the link back in the chat and then come
Okay.
back up. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry. Let me just try and sort this out because it's going to be hard for you to really see me. All right, 1 second. I'm just gonna. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? I think that the quality is not as good, but I'm hoping that this is better. Can you hear me, Crystal?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay, 1 second. All right, let me just manage this one. I don't know if everyone is it better now, everybody? Okay, it's better. Okay. Sorry about that, Crystal.
That's
Okay,
okay.
as we were saying. So the area you grew up in was quite a decent area. It was an area that there wasn't much, it wasn't the crime rate. How was the crime rate in the area? It wasn't too problematic.
No. And that's, a lot of people have a tendency to think that this kind of stuff can't happen where they are.
Mm.
And that's really what I want people to understand is it can happen where you are, and it is happening where you are. But we all have a tendency to go through life like with these blinders on, because we don't want to believe that this kind of stuff can happen, and that it can happen right under our noses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, how many people hear about things that happen in their neighborhood and they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that was going on. And it's like, well, the signs were there. We just didn't pay attention to them. And that's where, kind of the mindfulness comes in, is paying attention to everything that's going on. And, you hear stories all the time, at least I do, because I pay attention to them, of women, particularly, in older women, like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that are out grocery shopping by themselves or just shopping by themselves, and they're, leaving the store and going back to their car or vice versa. And, they're not on their phone, they're not paying attention, and someone just comes up and snatches them and takes off and then just does whatever with them. And nobody ever hears from them again unless they can actually get away. And it happens all the time. So, you constantly have to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And I'm not saying like, you should be afraid to go outside because this is going to happen, but, just like pay attention and see what's going on.
Crystal, I apologize. I think my screen is frozen now. So let me try and sort this out. I don't know why we're having so many difficulties today. This is not usually the case. 1 second, please, Crystal. I'm so...
Yeah, no problem.
I'm really sorry, everybody. I don't know what is going on today, but I'm just going to reset the chat. So we have Crystal with us today, and we are discussing how she survived trafficking. We are speaking about how she survived trafficking and how she is now able to also help people that deal with trauma, that have gone through similar things that she has. And we're just talking about her upbringing, how this came about. I'm really sorry about the connection, guys. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to keep it rolling, and I hope that you can see me clearly now. Okay, Crystal, I truly apologize about all of this. This does not usually
happen.
Yeah, I'm really, really sorry. So yes, Crystal, as you were saying.
So, it's something that happens, and it happens a lot more than it should. And, it's an unfortunate thing that really, it's just sad. It really is how many, I guess, degenerate people there are in the world. But
Exactly.
For a long time, I hated myself. I really did. I hated myself. I hated my life. I hated my parents. I hated everything. And I didn't want to live. I was, like I said, deeply ashamed. I didn't want to talk about what happened to me. I just didn't want to deal with life. And so I drowned everything in alcohol and food. So, food was a really good comfort for me too. And one day I had a realization that something needed to change. I just figured like something needed to change. And I knew that I needed to stop drinking because it was killing me. And so I quit drinking.
So what age was this that you quit drinking?
I was about 25.
Okay, so how many years was it that you were drinking to numb this pain?
Oh, probably like 15 years.
Okay. So after 15 years of drinking, you decided one day that that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I had what the drunks call a moment of clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe a divine inspiration,
Mm-hmm.
you know, regardless of how you want to look at that, definitely divine inspiration. And so I read. I'm a voracious reader. I used to read a lot when I was a kid because it was my escape. You
Yeah.
know, easy way for me to be able to get out of my head and to get someplace else. And so I went into a bookstore and was walking down the self-help aisle, which isn't an aisle that I would normally ever go down.
Mm-hmm.
And a book, again, divine inspiration, fell off the shelf right in front of me. So I picked it up and was looking at it. And while I was looking at it, a bookstore employee actually came down the aisle at that time and saw what I was looking at and said, if you like that book, you'll really like this book. And so he gave me another book and I bought both of them and went home and read them. And they changed my life. They completely changed my life because when I quit drinking, I needed something, right? I
Mm.
was using the alcohol as a crutch. It was my way of coping. And when I quit drinking, I still needed a way to be able to deal with my pain because there was a lot of pain, a lot of really deep wounds, a lot of emotions that really needed to be dealt with. And so I used mindfulness, meditation, and prayer to really help change my life and learning to forgive.
Mm.
And not
Yeah.
just forgiving the people who had hurt me, but forgiving myself. That was
Wow.
the hardest, you know,
Mm.
learning to forgive myself and to love myself. So that, you know, helped me to transform my life and make it into what it is today. And
Mm-hmm.
through all of that healing that I went through, all of the things that I've done, I realized that, you know, as crazy as it sounds, I actually became, you know, besides forgiving the people who had hurt me, kind of became grateful for the experience because
Mm.
the experience gave me a perspective to be able to help other people to heal their pain.
Yeah. So you speak about your healing process and forgiveness and even forgiving yourself. You know, you spoke about reading some certain books. What were some key elements? You know, I know you spoke about meditation, prayer, and things like that. What were some key elements or some even words? You know, sometimes you can have a sentence and it can change your life. You can read something and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm set free. So what were some of those things that drew your attention to help you on this self, you know, healing development?
Gratitude.
Wow.
You know,
Gratitude.
I know a lot of people think that might be crazy to say, but to be grateful for every experience because
Mm.
every experience that you have teaches you something. But if we can't see the lesson that we're meant to learn in this experience, we will continue to have
Mm.
this experience again and again until we learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn, and then we can move on. So gratitude is a huge thing, you know, learning to be grateful for everything, good and
Mm.
bad, because there really is no bad. It's just your perspective on the situation, right?
Yeah.
So in learning to really love myself,
Mm.
I I tried really hard to become a better person, but it wasn't until that I recognized that, you know, all of this, going through all these process and forgiving other people didn't really mean anything until I started to forgive myself, because I blame myself for a lot of stuff. You know, why didn't I say something to somebody? Why didn't I get out sooner? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I, you know, all the woulda, shoulda, couldas, you know,
Mm.
and it's like you have to realize that the past is the past and you can't change it. And once you realize that you can't change it and stop blaming yourself for things that you did when you were in survival mode, then you can move forward and really truly begin the healing process. Because
Mm-hmm.
until you can learn to get to that point where you are no longer blaming yourself or blaming others for what's happened, you'll
Wow.
never be able to heal.
And I think that that's such an important point, because a lot of times when we go through things, you know, myself included, especially when we are the victim of something, we do, it's almost like holding on to blame. Is it comforts us, do you understand? And it's not justifying what the person did was right or is right. It's just that we hold that so dear to us because it help, we think it's helping us to feel better about it. Oh, they shouldn't have done that. And every time we see them, we want to, you know, even in our thoughts, we have negative thoughts towards these people, but we think it's helping us. Actually, it's actually not releasing us from some sort of torment in our own minds, in our own thoughts, you know, trauma, you know. And I want you to touch on trauma as well. But these are all the things, unfortunately and fortunately, when it comes to things that have happened for us, we have to have the ability and be able to forgive people. We just do, because we help ourselves. We set ourselves free when we are able to forgive people. So forgiveness, like a lot of people do say, is not actually for the other person, but it's for us. It's for ourselves. And gratitude, I mean, everybody's writing in the chat saying gratitude. I just want to welcome Speaking Grace. God bless you, sisters. I want to welcome Sandra. I want to welcome CV Coach 216. God bless you all. I'm really sorry about my face. If it's blurry, apologies. Yes, a lot of people are speaking about gratitude. You know, gratitude is so powerful. Blessings says, yes, the past is gone. No need to blame ourselves or others. Moving forward is the answer to healing from the past. I truly agree with this. Moving forward, you know, because the longer we stay and we think about what has been done to us, we rob ourselves of joy, happiness, peace, so many things that I believe we should have in this life to thrive. You know, we're dealing with so many things, even now, pandemic, all of these things. So we need things that are internally going to make us feel better about our circumstances. And I think definitely healing and accepting to heal, being grateful that you're even alive in a time like this helps us, you know. Absolutely. So thank you all so much. So trauma, how do you help, or how do you deal with trauma? I want to actually ask you that question, because I know that sometimes, even though you may have overcome something, every now and again you may think of that thought or that situation that you went through. How do you deal with those thoughts or that trauma that you may go through?
Right. So, I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get triggered, and it's going to happen far more than you think it's going to, you know, whether it's a sight or a smell or a sound, a song that comes on the radio. You know, any of those things can trigger a trauma response. Seeing someone that looks like someone who hurt you, they can all be triggers. And it's going to happen, you know, and it's going to happen at the most inopportune time. You're not even going to be, you know, prepared for it. But the key to handling the trauma response is practicing mindfulness.
Okay.
And by practicing mindfulness, you're here in the present moment. You are not in the past and you're not in the future. You're here. And because you're here, you can recognize what's happening.
Okay.
And then you can use your thoughts. So, you know, if you have a trigger or a trauma response, one of the easiest ways to actually stop it immediately is to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
And then to, you know, work on lowering your heart rate and changing your thoughts. So like you're focusing on something different, right? So shifting your focus from going, you know, where your brain was going, because it automatically wants to go down that negative rabbit hole, right? Because you have these neural pathways, and your brain always wants to go to the same place over and over and over again. It's the same thing. Like we all run on autopilot every day. And if this is what your brain does on autopilot, or what it did in the past on autopilot, then when these things come up, it's going to want to go to that place automatically. So it's you have to be consciously aware that it's happening. And then shift gears and say, okay, I'm not going to go down that road. I'm going to go this way instead. And I'm going to focus on something different. I'm going to pull up a funny video on YouTube. I'm going to watch that and it's
Yes.
going to make me laugh, and I'm going to think about something
Exactly.
differently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to choose to focus on something else.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is the choice. You have to consciously make a choice to do something different, to think something different, because
Wow.
if you allow these things, and that's the thing, you are allowing them by being a victim, by continuing to stay a victim. You are allowing these people to continue to have power over you. And once you stop and you shift your thoughts and you change the way you think and feel, you take away their power and you get all the power back.
Wow. That is very, very powerful. It's absolutely true. We have a choice. And, you know, even sometimes with me, there's times where I feel like I'm being triggered or I just wake up and sometimes I'm just in a bad mood and I'm like, no, I'm not going to allow my thoughts to align with how I'm feeling. I'm going to change my mindset, whether I like it or not, because I do not want to be in this state. So definitely the mind is such a powerful, you know, thing that we have. Our mind is so powerful, and we have to make that conscious decision and effort to change it, because life will happen and sometimes we will be triggered, you know, post-traumatic, you know, stress disorder. We will be triggered about some things that happened in the past, but what do? We've got to train our mind. You know, the Bible speaks about renewing your mind. This is something that it's an instruction almost. We have to take responsibility for our mind, you know, especially if we're on a healing, on the road to healing, road to recovery. These are definitely the things that we need to be doing. So I've got some questions here. So Rainforest says, Marie, was Crystal afraid to leave? Why was she not hurt when she left?
So I had to change my identity in order to get away. So I, you know, and I moved like really far away to get away from the people that that were threatening to harm me. And a lot of these people, they're cowards. They threaten a lot of stuff and they won't actually do anything. So it took me a really long time to even come forward, because and to speak, like to actually speak about what I'm in, to be out in videos. And I wrote a book and, you know, doing television interviews and stuff like that, because I want people to understand that this is something that happens. And even that brought up a lot of fears. And, you know, whether like there was going to be negative repercussions. I was afraid for my spouse, you know, that something was going to happen. And so, you know, but you can't, I just decided like I can't live in fear anymore. I couldn't. I couldn't be afraid. I had to do something. And you know what, if it meant me dying, it meant me dying, but I couldn't do it anymore. I had to get out.
Crystal, that is so powerful. Thank you for that question. You know, when you said you could not live in fear anymore, that is because you're so right. You know, you can even have that fear when you know, people want to hear about your story and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to share my story, but I've got to go home and think, who's following me? What's going to happen to me tomorrow? Am I going to get a death threat or am I going to get email? You know, all of those things will go around in your mind. But like you said you cannot live in fear anymore. You made that decision, and that's I believe a lot of us can relate to that. There's so many things in our life that we want to do, and it's like something, maybe not to the extent of trafficking or whatever, but fear, you know, gripping us, going to the next stage or the next position in our life that we need to be, but fear. And it's like, I cannot do this. It's like we have to notice that a lot of these things are our choice. You know, you said that at the beginning, that a lot of things have to do with choice. A lot of these things, and we do actually have that power in us to make that choice and actually thrive. We definitely do have it, and you're an example of that. I'm going to take a question from Blessings and Favor. It says, Inspirational by Marie, please ask Crystal what food alcohol did. Okay, what food and alcohol did. Was it numbing her pain?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I used alcohol to be able to sleep at night, because if I didn't drink myself to sleep, I couldn't. And, you know, food was just an instant high, right? You know, I didn't want to do drugs. because it was just something that I didn't want to do. And alcohol was just easier. And so was food. I mean, you can go any store. Well, I mean, here in America, I don't know what it is over there, like in the UK, but every street corner, there's Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell. I mean, we've got convenience stores that have like sugar and carbs up the wazoo. We've got supermarkets that are just, I mean, you go into a supermarket here and it's crazy. I mean, every store sells alcohol. Every store here sells alcohol. I mean, it's just it's huge. There's alcohol everywhere. It's just a huge part of our culture. And so it was easy to get, right? So much easier than trying to find, like, how can I find someone that sells drugs? I don't need to do that. I could just go in any store and have someone get me alcohol. It's or go to Burger King or McDonald's and get, a carb fix to make me feel better for a minute, because that's what food does. Sugar and carbs, they make you feel better for a minute, and then after a little while you feel terrible because you're eating all this crap.
Yes, Crystal. Yes. Okay, let me continue to take some pictures so that time pictures to take some questions so that time doesn't run out. Okay. Angela Fireround says, Inspirational by Marie, please ask Crystal what she means by trafficking again. Was she sold? She said she had a pimp.
Yes. I was forced into prostitution.
So. For how long was this? Was this for the whole of the duration?
As an adult, it started when I was about 17 and went until I was about 25, so almost 10 years.
Wow. Were they taking the money from you, or how?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so they were definitely exploiting you and taking the fees from you. Wow. Were you on street corners? Was it in a house? What
no, kind of it was like houses and hotels. It wasn't like, because we didn't live in an area where there was like streetwalkers. It was mainly like I don't know if you guys have Craigslist over there, but we've got like Craigslist and Backpage, and I mean all this stuff. They took a lot of it down within the last couple of years because of trafficking. But back then it was just easy. I mean, they could put advertisements on the internet, and there was all kinds of websites that you could go to, and yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you for that question, Angela Fireround. Thank you so much for answering, Crystal. Miss Kenny says, did you go for therapy/counseling?
Oh yeah, I see a therapist, or I talk to a therapist every week. So I'm still to this day, and it's been almost 20 years since I got out that I still struggle. Like there's still things that I'm working on and issues that I'm trying to fix. But 20 years of working on my problems has made my life so much better, on forgiveness and letting things go and moving forward and really, really working on healing.
Were you ever able to confront any of these pimps or the people that put you through this? Have you bumped into them or seen them?
No, I'm not in an area where they are anymore. I moved far away because I didn't want to be anywhere near them anymore. So, or anywhere that I could come in contact with them. So.
Absolutely. Yes. Chuck says, I think I can hear myself echoing. So Chuck says, mindfulness is a great therapy. I deal with it in my line of work. Okay.
Yeah, mindfulness is great. And what mindfulness does is it takes you from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence.
Right.
So, the unconscious incompetence is, I want to stop smoking or I want to stop drinking, but because it's such a habit, I want to stop eating crisps. I want to stop, doing whatever. But because it's something that you do automatically, you might say I want to quit, but then it's like all of a sudden you're doing it and you're like, crap, I wanted to stop. Oh, well, I guess I'll do it next time. So, you have to be consciously aware that you're doing it and then start making a different choice, instead of eating the crisps, eating, a banana or eating some grapes or eating something different, instead of smoking a
Replacement.
cigarette or drinking the soda, you're drinking water. And so you do that so much, and that it just becomes that becomes the habit instead of the bad things. And it takes a while to get there, but with conscious practice, and that's what mindfulness is. It's a continual practice. You
Mm,
have to do it every single day. You have to constantly
mm,
be aware. You
yes.
have to be vigilant. You have to watch your thoughts, because
Wow.
if you don't, then your thoughts are going to run your life. And that's exactly what's going to happen. They are going to be what's going to dictate what happens in your life, how you feel, how you
Yeah.
think, how you
Yeah.
act, how you react.
Yes, absolutely. And just to mention what I said before, what you're saying, Crystal, is absolutely true, because like I said before, the Bible definitely tells us that we have to be renewing our mind daily. There's a reason why, God is pointing this out to us. So many of us have been through so many things that if we don't make those conscious decisions to take hold of our minds and say, I'm sad, but I'm going to choose to be happy. I'm depressed, but I'm going to choose to laugh. Like, it sometimes has to literally be the opposite of what you feel. Otherwise, we just stuck in that state, and it's hard to get out of, which is why it has to be conscious. It
Yeah.
has to be a decision. It has to be a choice, literally. So absolutely. And then Frugal Mama of Boys says, yes, we definitely have to take control of our minds. Start with being conscious, yes, of our emotions. Absolutely. CV Coach 216 says, hello, Crystal. How is life for you now?
Oh, my life is amazing. I met and married an amazing person. He's so supportive and so kind and so generous. I honestly never imagined that I never thought I would be able to have a good relationship with a person before. I really didn't, because
Wow.
of all the stuff that had happened to me. But I was blessed to be able to find him, and I'm live in a beautiful house, and I just love where I live, and I'm living the life of my dreams, and I'm helping people, which is really what I know I'm meant to do.
Yeah, talk to us about that. That's awesome, by the way, Crystal. The fact that you could meet somebody and have such a prosperous, relationship and marriage, because I think that definitely once we go through some sort of, especially when it comes to abuse, trafficking, things that affect our heart, we don't know whether or not we can trust another person. We're a bit more wary. But for you to build a relationship with somebody and have such a wonderful, experience with this person, it goes to show that your life didn't just stop there, and there was actually more for you, and we can, whatever it is that we're going through, this is just encouragement for everybody on the live. No matter what it is that we've gone through, it doesn't mean that our life stops there. There is still going to be brighter days, better days, and lights at the end of the tunnel. And I believe your story is actually showing this. When it comes to your clients, or the people that you help assist, the people that you support, what does that entail? What does that require? Do they come to you weekly? What is it that you're teaching them? How do you also help them come out of trauma?
Well, I mean, it's going to be different for every person, right?
Right.
Because everyone has different things that they're going through or that they've struggled with. And, we really spend a lot of time talking about what it is that they struggle with, and really getting to the deep, deep wounded parts that we have a tendency to suppress. Even,
Yeah.
we suppress a lot of it because we don't want to deal with the emotions that it really brings up. But it's the trauma responses in regards to triggers that bring up the suppressed things that working with them to kind of unearth. It's almost like an archaeological dig. Like, you try and dig over here a little bit, and then you pull this up, and then you're like, brush this off. Okay, let's clean this up and move it on. And then let's try digging in another spot. And so that's what we do. We just spend a lot of time digging for all the things
Wow.
and
Get
coming
to
up
the
with
root.
different ways to deal with the thoughts and the feelings, because emotions are they're even more powerful sometimes than the thoughts that go along with
Yes.
these experiences, and how to shift your energy and how to shift your thoughts and your feelings in regards to these things, how to forgive and how to really move forward and let things go.
Yes. Absolutely. Awesome answer. Thank you so much. And you said something and it's like you're digging. And to me, it's like getting to the root of the problem. What is the issue here? What are you actually feeling when you think of this? What is it that's taken over your mind? Getting to the root of our situations is very important because, like you said, the suppressing can actually happen. You can suppress some things. It's like you're just there's like a layer, but there's so many things underneath that layer that if we don't get to the root of it, unfortunately, it's still there. It hasn't really been dealt with, and then we find ourselves in this cycle, going back and forth, back and forth. So absolutely, we've got to dig deep. What is it? Can be uncomfortable. Can be very difficult. It can be hard to do that, but it's necessary when it comes to healing and when it comes to trauma. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has joined. And I want to say, Crystal, that everybody is just saying they thank God for your life, that they're so grateful, that you're sharing the story. They thank God for your life. Thank you so much, Destiny, for the super chat. God bless you. Thank you ever so much. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So just making sure there's no more questions. So, Crystal, one thing that I usually ask when it comes to the end of these conversations that I have with my lovely guests like yourself is if anybody were to hear this conversation, this discussion, who are those people? Who do you want to hear this? Who are the people that you would like to hear this message? Could be a person or a group of people.
Anybody who really feels like they were victimized by someone, something, or some situation. Whether it was abuse as a child, abuse as an adult, abused by a coworker or a boss, because a lot of us have a tendency to we won't tolerate abuse from family or friends, but we'll tolerate abuse in a working relationship because we feel like I have to put up with this because I need a paycheck. And there's so many people that really struggle because they're like, I need to pay my bills, but I'm being treated like garbage.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I work with people like that, to try and figure out like, what is it that is allowing you to be treated like that? What is it within you that makes you feel like you don't deserve better? Right. So, to help them realize that they do deserve better, because everybody deserves to be treated with kindness and respect and with love. But sometimes we don't feel like we do. So, people that really struggle with, how can I survive, or how can I create a life for myself even after abuse? We have a tendency to, like, when I got out of all of this stuff, I didn't feel worthy, right, of a good relationship. And that's why I say I'm so grateful that I actually have a good relationship, because there are so many people that, like you said, they get out of relationships or they get out of these situations and they feel like they can never trust anybody again.
Exactly.
They can never, do anything good with their life, or that they're unworthy of something good. But as divine children of God, we are all worthy of his blessings and all the good things that he has to offer. And we need to understand that, it is our divine right.
Wow. That is so powerful, Crystal. Absolutely. It is our divine right. This is what God wants for us. There's not one person on this earth that deserves to be treated like they're not loved.
No.
There's not one person on this earth that deserves to be treated like they're not important. Like we were saying earlier, we just don't know what people are going through. Like you can have a smile on your face, but be going through so many things deep down inside. And that kind word that you can give to somebody may change their life or their day, So it's important that we have this outlook in life when we're dealing with people. I'm going to take two more questions, Crystal. I believe that Grace Landers just asked a question. which is, Marie, how did Crystal escape?
I had an opportunity and I took it. I just left.
Okay.
So,
and also Kenny says, what support did you have during that time?
while I was going through everything, or afterwards?
Well, yeah, I know you touched on the fact that you you do counseling now, so I believe that that's support. But at the
during it, I really didn't have any support. I mean, I was by myself.
Yeah.
I'm reading. I read a lot of books. I did a lot of prayer, and that really was the only thing, like, praying, like, please let me get out of this. And I promise I'll do something better with my life.
Yeah. that happens to a lot of us. We're like, God, please get me out. I'll make sure I'll serve you for the rest of my life. But yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's prayers that we pray when we're desperate, we need out. We need a way out. God, please give me a sign. So absolutely. Yes. So Grace Lander says, trafficking is terrible. We can recognize people. How can we recognize? I think it's supposed to be, how can we recognize people that are trafficked?
So it's really hard to say, how to recognize, but just seeing how people are if they seem fearful, if they won't make eye contact is one of the keys. Because a lot of times, like, you're not allowed to make eye contact with people. You're not allowed to talk. So, like, I couldn't talk to people, if we were out in public. I wasn't allowed to make eye contact with people. I couldn't talk to anybody. I wasn't allowed to have a phone. And so I basically, I hate to say I had to be demure, but that's basically, so it's just like, eyes down, like, look. And so if you see someone that looks like they're afraid, that looks like they're scared, because they look like that, if they look like they're uncomfortable, and not just uncomfortable because they just don't want to be out in public, or maybe they just don't want to be with whoever that they're with. Like, you can tell when someone is with someone and they don't want to be. And it's the same thing with abuse victims. If you have seen someone who is an abuse victim, or if you've been in an abusive relationship, you see the signs. And, there's a lot of different resources that you can find online to help you recognize the signs. And I know, like, a lot of flight attendants are, being trained on recognizing the signs of trafficking victims, because a lot of people are being shipped, to different states. And so, like, I would have to go, like, to different states, and I, travel across the country. And, there were certain things that I couldn't do. And I couldn't get up to go to the bathroom. I couldn't ask for my own meals. I couldn't, say anything for myself, or for myself. So, there's a lot of things that you can recognize and pick up on if you know what to look for.
Absolutely. Crystal, you've been so awesome. I mean, you've provided us with a lot of information. Some of us may have heard what trafficking is before, maybe didn't really understand, but I believe that you've actually given us a lot of insight. And even in terms of, that's a very good question, Grace Lander, even being able to, how do you recognize somebody that is being trafficked, how? And you've given us that explanation, very, very detailed conversation that we've had today. And I thank you so much for sharing this on this platform. To me, like I said when we spoke, it's like, I just want people to be inspired, for them to know that there's hope at the end of the tunnel, because these are reality. This could be somebody's reality, somebody's reality, but you've come out so you flourished, great relationship, awesome lady, an example, to other people, that there is definitely hope at the end of the tunnel, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. I'm gonna ask you where we can find you. Social media, of course, it's in my description already, so please be sure to check that out. But you can also say where we can find you, you know, if anybody wants to know anything more, any more information, where do we find you?
Yeah, so the name of my company is Mindful Shift, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, here on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, and all under Mindful Shift.
Okay, Mindful Shift. Okay, so everybody's got that. Thank you so much. So Sandra just says, thank God, Crystal, for your life. Coming out of trafficking is a big testimony because it's a terrible thing. So yes, everybody just, Lion King says, we really appreciate you, Crystal. Blessings and Favor says, thank you, Crystal. Destiny O says, God bless you, Crystal. Everybody's just loving on you. Yeah, we really just appreciate you, Crystal, for coming out and sharing with us all, and also, you know, educating us, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you ever so much, Crystal. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Crystal. God bless you. God bless you. Guys, that was so awesome. It was such an awesome discussion. I think that, you know, these are the people, you know, when you think about life, and as a person that's in Christ, you serve God, you may come across somebody in life that has been trafficked before. Do you understand where I'm coming from? These are people that God is calling us to, because these are people that somewhere or another have been through so many hardships, brokenness. You know, they do not trust people anymore. So we have to be able to embrace people like this that may have been through this experience, that may speak to us one day. We don't know who God may be telling us to speak to. So we definitely have to have some understanding about these type of things. I want to just say thank you to everybody. God bless you, Chinwe, Sister Chinwe Uzoma. Thank you so much. Sis Izzy Thomas, God bless you. God bless you, Destiny. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, my lovely sister. You're so awesome. God bless you. Mwah. I really appreciate you. Thank you ever so much. His word, God bless you. His word. Thank you so much, Sister Blessing. Thank you. I love you. Thank you so much, Sandra, my dear sister. I love you. Thank you, Lion King, Grace Lander. Thank you so much. Pepe, God bless you. Thank you ever so much, Pepe P. Thank you. God bless you, Miss Kenny. God bless you. Thank you ever so much for being here and for moderating. Big shout out to the moderators. Thank you ever so much, you guys. Yes, I want to also apologize for my screen. Don't ask me what happened. Please, I do not know, but I'm going to try and work on it or sort it out. But I'm going to see if maybe it was the connection or something. I'm not really sure. But thank you all for being so patient. And God bless you for all being so patient and sticking with me through the journey, sticking with me and Crystal through the journey. I truly do appreciate it, honestly. For those who are content creators and do live, you know what that feels like. It doesn't. But yes, Tay, God bless you, Tay. Thank you so much, CV Coach 216. God bless you. Sarah Isosa, God bless you, my sister. God bless you. Frugal Mama of Boys, God bless you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with me. Gloria Tete, my lovely sister. We had such an awesome time today on His Words channel. Awesome time. Please be sure to check out the live stream. Miss Gloria, Pastor Gloria did give us a word. Awesome word. Thank you so much, pastors, wife perspective. God bless you, Chuck. Thank you so much for sharing your experience at work. God bless you, virtual church. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate you all. Who else? Angela Fireman. God bless you. Thank you so much. Blessings and favor. Thank you so much, Life of Leonard. God bless you, sir. I really appreciate you. May God continue to bless you. Who else do I have? Thank you all. Effa, God bless you, my lovely sister E. Thank you so much, sister E. God bless you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, everybody. God bless you, Teacher S. Higgins. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much, Chinoye Reality TV. God bless you, my lovely sister. Thank you so much, Kenny, for dropping that link. Yes. God bless you all. Let me just see if I'm just missing anybody out. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I think I've got everybody there. I just want to say thank you to everybody. God bless you all. I really appreciate each and every person on this live. And I just pray that the Lord will give us more insight. You know, He's sending us out into the world. And there's so many people that we're going to be speaking to. There's so many people that we're going to be meeting on the way, on the journey. Yeah. And they come from different parts of life, different situations. So we need to be open to these things. We definitely need to. And God bless you all. Sorry, guys, I'm having another issue. So I'm just going to go now, but you get the gist, yeah? God be with us all in Jesus' name. And until next time, be inspired, be encouraged, be blessed. Mwah. Take care, guys. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.